Oh darn, I didn't get music started before the stream again. I always forget to do that. No copyright lo-fi. That'll work. Give me that no copyright lo-fi. Give me that copyright, no copyright lo-fi. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're grooving now. We're grooving now, chat. Let me notify everybody in the Discord. Let them know we are live. We just streamed like, what was it, chat? 4 or 5 hours ago? Something like that. But it was still like extremely, I don't know, late for a lot of people. So not a whole lot of people were able to make it to that one. Let's see. Let's pull up the stream. All right. Got that pulled up. All right. There we go. We are officially live. And we've got the Discord notified. Or we're good, right? Yeah, we're good. Okay. We're good. We're good. Wait, where'd my music go? I'm all over the place today, chat. I'm all over the place. So we have got an exciting recovery story for you guys today. I did get permission. I did get permission to use this story. This is from someone that has been following my advice for quite some time. So I did get permission to use this story. I don't just I don't just go sharing people's personal stories that they share with me with just anybody unless I get permission to do so. In fact, this person was quite eager to have me do this, so that's awesome. Coffee, what's up, dude? Welcome, Coffee. Early morning stream, 10 a.m. stream today. Let's see how many people are up around this time. We are gonna give it a bit before we get going. This is gonna be like one of our usual streams, so we're gonna give it a bit before we get going. Let some people get in here. How you doing today, Coffee? How you doing today, Coffee? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come one, come all. Welcome, welcome. There we go. We're starting to get those notifications sent out now. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me know how you been, how you are. Would love to hear from you. Hello, hello. What's up, Z? Mel. Hey, Wonder Bro, you're back. What is up? It's 3 p.m. here in the UK. Keeping up the two keys, bro. That's awesome, dude. So, like I said, we do have an exciting anxiety recovery success story today. I did get permission, all right? I did get permission to share this story with people, although I'm not going to drop any names. I did get permission from this person to share his story, so that is exciting. He was more than eager to allow me to share his story. What's up, Sanchez? So this story, guys, this recovery success story goes right in line with what we've been talking about here recently with positive behaviors. But we're going to get into the details of it in just a minute. And this is not just a oh, this person overcame one little fear kind of success story. No, this is a success story. A success story. This is like one of those from bottom to top stories. So, exciting stuff. I'm happy that I'm able to share it. I'm happy that I'm able to share it. Gonna be a good one, guys. Gonna be a good one, guys. Is it my turn in 8 ball pool? That's exactly what Madison's talking about. Oh shit, it is my turn. It is my turn. Hold on. I gotta play Madison back in pool real quick. You're just gonna lose anyway, like you always do. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. She's actually decent at it. She's actually pretty decent at it. What's up, Rita? Welcome to the stream. We're just giving it a minute, let some people get in here, let notifications get sent out, all that jazz before we get started. But we do have an exciting story today that we are going to share with everybody. All right, guys. So what? We're about 6 minutes into this. Hey, I remembered to get my lights going today. Okay, let's do that real quick. Let's do that real quick before we do anything. All right. All right. Wow. Okay, I forgot to do that. Why do I continue to forget to switch my source? Whatever. Whatever. It's okay. We're still on track here. And my mic was muted. We're still on track here. It's okay. Man, look at this arm fat. It's not as fat as it looks, but like if I do it a certain way, it looks like it's fat as shit. It's not too bad. I don't really have much muscle, but I'll still flex on them a little bit. Still flex on them a little bit. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one started. So an exciting anxiety recovery story that has to deal with positive behaviors. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fade this music out here. Go ahead and fade this music out here so we don't have to talk over that the whole time. So I hope everybody's here. I hope everybody's ready because we're gonna get going. So we have been talking a lot, okay, a lot recently. In fact, I think every single one of our past, 4 or 5 streams has been aimed at positive behaviors. We've been reading from that article, Unlearning Anxiety, I believe it's called, and we've been talking a lot about how that emotional subconscious part of the brain, as far as setting, okay, what your anxiety level's at, okay, comes down to behaviors. We've been talking a lot about that. We've been reading a lot from nothingworks.weebly. We've been reading a lot from Unlearn Anxiety. We've been talking a lot about positive behaviors. Quit fighting with your thoughts. You're wasting your damn time. It's okay to be rational, but seriously, if you want to retrain your brain, let's focus on those positive behaviors, right? We have really been trying to drive that point home because we want to let you know that you are literally one choice away from being who you want to be. I don't care what your particular fears are right now. I don't care how out of this world they are. I don't care how negative they are. I don't care how seemingly realistic or unrealistic or this. I don't care what the context of your thoughts are right now. You are still just one choice away from being a whole new you, even though you can't see that right now. So the past 3, 4, 5 streams, I've been really trying to drive that home because you don't understand how close you are to being a new you. And it starts with just positive behaviors. While you're anxious, smiling more, singing more, speaking up more, keeping your back straight, doing something positive with your physical behaviors, right? Even though you don't feel like it. So, I've been really trying to drive that home because there's a lot of people still out there that are like, it's too good to be true. It won't work for me. I've got too many issues. My thoughts are too out of this world. Um, but that's why I was so excited to bring you guys this recovery success story today, right? Because this goes right in line with what we've been talking about this whole time. Now, I know a guy, right? And I'm not going to mention any names. I told him I wouldn't mention any names. He was more than happy to let me share his story, but I'm not going to mention any names, so we'll call him Bob. All right, we'll call him Bob for the sake of the story here. So, I know a guy named Bob, and I've known this guy for a very long time. He joined my channel way back when, and in fact, probably a longer time ago than most of you have that are currently in the chat right now. So, he's been around for quite a while. I've got an itchy throat here. He's been around for quite a while. We're talking like, what, when did I start the channel? 3 or 4 years ago. So every now and then I get these people that watch the streams. They've been here for a while. They've been listening to what I have to say, but they don't really, they kind of stay at this plateau. They're like, I know the advice, I kind of use the advice, I kind of don't use the advice, and they become, more or less regulars that are kind of stuck in between, right? So anyway, Bob, we're going to call him Bob, like I said, was definitely one of these people. And I got to know him on a very personal basis, right? We started to chat quite a bit about our personal experiences, and I tried my best to get him on the straight and narrow. And I've been working with him for quite a while. And keep in mind, this has nothing to do with me. This has nothing to do with, oh, Bob talked to Wonder Bro directly, so that's why he had success. This has jack shit to do with me, right? Because I tell Bob the same thing I tell all of you guys, right? But I got to know Bob on a very personal level. He's a great guy. So he wasn't having much success. And he was a lot like me back in my day. And I think that's where the two of us kind of clicked and we started to vibe together and we got to know each other because we were very, very similar. All right. I never gave up hope on Bob. Right? I never gave up hope on Bob, but I did get to know him on a very personal basis because we had such similar stories. Um, over the years, I would send him all the things that I show you guys. I would talk to him about all the things that I talk to you guys about. But it's like there was something there that was kind of like, I just feel so bad, and I could sense it. He didn't even have to tell me. I could just sense by the way he would talk to me. I just feel so bad. I know the advice. I'm not using the advice. How can I act positive and behave positively when I feel like crap? Right? He didn't have to come out and say that, but I could kind of sense that was the vibe that I was getting. But nobody ever gave up on Bob. So recently, when we found the Unlearning Anxiety article and the nothingworks.weebly and all this good stuff, which we've known about for a while, I guess something just kind of clicked with them, right? Now, we're talking about a guy who's been dealing with this shit for years. We're talking about a guy who goes through different various levels of sensitivity, and he shared his personal thoughts with me and his personal negative worries, which I'm not going to share with the general public, but they were a lot in line with a lot of what I'm seeing in my chat here, right? And we would go through this together and we would talk together and I would send him these articles and I would talk to him about this or that. But here recently, I sent him a piece from the Unlearning Anxiety website. And that's where I'm borrowing a lot of this knowledge that I've been talking about for the past 3 or 4 streams. I sent him some pieces from there that goes into, it's the same stuff that I've been reading to the chat here recently. And I'll actually read you guys the little snippet that I actually sent him because something must have clicked. Something must have clicked in his brain because he was like, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. We're going to dedicate to this. So I'm going to read you guys exactly what I sent him that he swears up and down by. What really got him on track. All right, so you need behavior for this, right? If you understand but don't behave as if you understand, then it's not going to work. Insight is important, but action is where rubber meets the road. You need to be able to show yourself, okay, that you are not in any real danger. And then it says in parentheses, really, you're showing your amygdala. So I guess something clicked with that. I don't know what it is. I don't know how that's worded any differently than what we've been talking about, but something must have clicked. Because we've seen huge improvements. And it's so funny because he actually messaged me, and this is what inspired this entire stream. He actually messaged me this morning to tell me, I've been through years of anxiety, varying degrees of sensitivity and sensitization. And since yesterday, okay, now keep this in mind, chat. Now, everyone's different, so I don't want you to hold yourself to any sort of standard here. But since yesterday, that's one day, chat. Since yesterday, I have been behaving how I want to feel, and I feel great. It's still coming in waves. He did make it a point to say that it still comes in waves, but when these waves come, he behaves how he wants to feel. I said, how do you behave how you want to feel? How do you go that route? And he said, I just put on a smile, I sing my favorite song, and I talk to my friends, and I play my video games. A lot like me, right? And I was like, so you've been doing this since yesterday. Right? And I've known you for 3 or 4 years now, and you've been doing this since yesterday, and you feel great. He's like, yeah, I feel great. I don't feel 100%. And again, he did make it a point to say that it does still come in waves, right? So don't expect miracle overnight results. But since yesterday, chat, this guy has been struggling, and he's been in the depths of this shit. the same as I was. That's why we connected the way that we did. He's been in the depths of this shit for quite some time. Okay? And then he tells me, I've really started to dedicate to these positive, accepting behaviors, even though I feel like crap. Okay? After reading everything that I've read and after finally saying to myself, you know what? Why not give it a try? I have been acting how I want to feel. And since yesterday, all right? Everybody's different. Don't hold yourself to a standard. But since yesterday, I feel great. Now, those words, I feel great, are coming out of the mouth of someone who has been, honestly, where I was, which is pretty fucking low, okay, on the sensitized scale. Since yesterday, after 3 or 4 years, I have dedicated to these positive behaviors, and in one day, I feel a way that I haven't felt in 3 or 4 years, chat. So if that doesn't motivate you, the next time you feel anxious, the next time you have these mind attacks, the next time you feel panicky and anxiety ridden, if that doesn't motivate you to sing to the top of your lungs and put on a smile to demonstrate to that emotional subconscious part of the brain that, hey, look at me, there's no real threat. Look at me, look at how I'm behaving. If he can do it, right, and in one day feel 10 times better after 3 or 4 years of suffering in one day, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing this? I'll tell you why you're not doing it, because you feel like shit. And I get it. I completely 110% get it. Who wants to sing to the top of their lungs and smile when the mind is in some dark, scary places and the body is anxiety ridden? Who wants to do that? Nobody, really. But after all we've spoke about, right, here on the channel, about that emotional subconscious part of the brain, the limbic system, and how it watches your behaviors to determine whether or not it should keep that anxiety flipped on or turn it off. And after hearing the story that I just told you about a guy that I've known for years who was as low as I once was, finally said, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to give all this recent talk a try. Been watching the streams about the emotional subconscious part of the brain. Been watching the streams about how your brain only speaks one language, and that's behaviors. And finally, after 3 or 4 years, or however long it's been for, I don't know exactly, said, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. And he sang to the top of his lungs and put on a smile and talked to his friends online and played his video games. Just went on about his day, he said, right? And actually acted how he wanted to feel. And within one day, chat, one day after 3 or 4 years of suffering, started to feel better than he's ever felt, right? And those were his words. Started to feel better than he's ever felt. What are you waiting for, chat? What are you waiting for? We did a stream the other day about how I started my journey back in the day. A lot like how he finally started his journey. I went and I spoke to a friend and I played a video game and I tried to smile more, right? And then I started to take care of my personal hygiene a little bit better. I started to do all these little positive behaviors, all right? And that's what got me there. So, if the only thing standing in the way of you and recovery is positive behaviors, why are you all not singing right now? And singing is just one example. There's a million different examples of positive behaviors. But if the only thing standing in the way of retraining your amygdala to show your limbic system that there's no real threat is positive behaviors, why are you not doing it? Why are you not doing it, chat? Shit works. Shit works. And it's got me on this rant because, you know, I see so many people out there, right? And a lot of you do get it, but I still see too many people out there not willing to use these positive behaviors, not willing to act how they want to feel, because let's face it, they feel like crap. But I'm seeing it happen too often, and it's bugging me because it's like, the only thing standing between you and not having to suffer is, I'm a little burpy, is acting how you want to feel. The only thing standing in between you And not having to suffer is embodying with your behaviors how you want to feel so that you can say to the limbic system, I'm not under any threat. Look at me. I'm smiling. I'm singing. I'm dancing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Look at me, limbic system, right? I'm not under any threat. You can turn the anxiety levels down now. The only thing standing in the way between you and peace and recovery and healing is showing your brain that there is no danger with positive behaviors, chat. But I still see too many people not being willing to do that, right? And it sucks because they are unnecessarily suffering when they don't have to. And that's why I was so excited when I heard when I heard from my friend that had been in this place for so long. Okay? I was so excited when I heard from him. You know what? These past few days that I've been watching your streams, I finally tried it. I finally dedicated to positive behaviors. What'd you do? I sang every time I got anxious. I smiled more every time I got anxious. And we had a comment from, I believe it was Mel in our earlier stream. Some guy made a video saying the exact same thing. I don't have the link to the video, but some guy made a video saying the exact same thing, right? And we talked about that. Some guy made a video saying the exact same thing. Every time he was anxious and panicky, he sang and danced a little bit. And then he cured his anxiety doing that. And now I've got somebody else telling me the exact same thing, that they tried it too. And within a day, I guess from yesterday or last night or whatever last stream he watched, maybe it was the one from earlier, he already feels great. Okay? He already feels better than he's felt in a long time. And of course, like I said, he did say that it's still coming in waves. That's fine. This is day one. But you're telling me after 3 or 4 years on day one, he comes to me and says, I feel better than I felt in a long time. Granted, there might be still waves coming here and there, but I feel better than I felt in a long time after however many years within a day. And you're telling me you're not going to get going with this? You're telling me you're not going to get started with this? You're telling me you're not going to sing to the top of your lungs today and smile more today every time you're anxious to show your limbic system this threat isn't real? Because that emotional subconscious part of the brain only learns through your behaviors. It does not speak English. It does not speak language, right? You can be rational all you want, but let's get on board with these positive behaviors, chat, right? I mean, you've got somebody who I can say, I may have never met the guy in person, right? But I can say was a lot like me, was as low as I could go, right? And he was a lot in that same boat. And I could just tell by talking to him, right? So you're going to tell me, after hearing a guy who was as low as I was at one point, that after 3 or 4 years, our past few streams, I don't know exactly which one he was referring to, but our past few streams, he finally said, enough is enough, I'm going to give it a try. And now every time he's been anxious since yesterday, he's been using positive accepting behaviors, smiling more and singing more, and he's going to tell me after years of suffering that he feels better than he's ever felt, right? And you're not going to get started? You're not going to get going? You're not going to get started? You're not going to get going? Right? So Nisha in chat says how to handle fear of death of your loved ones and being not able to be present with them. You got to understand you have a sensitized amygdala. You have a sensitized brain to a person with an amygdala that is not sensitized. The thought or the images of the death of a loved one might be upsetting, but it would be easily brushed off and there would be no alarm. You're putting all of your energy into trying to figure out, how do I handle the fear of a death of a loved one? How do I handle this fear and how do I handle that fear? You're putting all of your energy into trying to figure out each individual thought, right? But you're putting no energy into positive accepting behaviors to show the limbic system in the only language it speaks that there is no threat. You're putting all of your energy into finding out, how do I handle this fear and how do I handle that fear and how do I handle this? I've got a cracky voice today. How do I handle that? But you're putting no energy into the only language that the limbic system speaks. I'm sorry, but you can't tell the limbic system, don't be afraid. It's going to say fuck off. The only language that the limbic system speaks is positive accepting behaviors, right? So Nisha, I hope that helps you. I hope that makes sense to you. All right. We don't want you to waste so much time trying to figure out every thought that comes. We want you to get on board with retraining your limbic system, with retraining the amygdala in the only language that it speaks, which is positive accepting behaviors. I mean, I've got a guy here, 3 or 4 years or however long it's been to him, felt like crap, right? And he's been putting in the work since yesterday. Since yesterday, every time he's feeling anxious, he acts and behaves how he wants to feel, and I think I'm getting sick. He acts and behaves how he wants to feel, and the first time in 3 or 4 years he's able to say, I felt better than I've ever felt before. Okay? I felt better than I've ever felt before, is what he's telling me. So let's put the same amount of energy that we're putting into trying to figure out the thoughts and fight the thoughts and then blah, 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 all this up here. Let's put that same amount of energy into the positive behaviors. Every time we're anxious, we should be singing. Every time we're anxious, we should be smiling. Every time we're anxious, we should be acting how we want to feel, which I like to put it, demonstrate to the brain that there's no real threat. That's what we should be putting our energy into. You put your energy into the only language that the brain speaks and you'll see results. Right now you're putting all your energy. You're putting all your energy into fighting with the thoughts and you're putting no energy into the only language that the brain speaks. I'm sorry, but the amygdala does not speak English. It does not speak a language. If you want it to turn off the threat alarm, if you want it to turn off the anxiety alarm, I don't care what the context of your thoughts are about. If you want it to turn off the threat alarm, you have to speak the one language that it speaks, which is positive, accepting behaviors. I myself can vouch for this. Now I've got this guy who can vouch for this. 3 or 4 years. And within one day of positive accepting behaviors, every time he's been anxious, he's telling me that he's trying to sing, he's smiling more, he's going on about his day, and he feels better than he's felt in 3 or 4 years. You've got that video that Mel was talking about in the comments, the stream from 5 hours ago, where the guy was talking about how every time he was anxious, he sang his favorite song and he would dance a little bit, right? He would move in the opposite direction of the anxiety, and he said he cured his anxiety doing that. You've got all these people vouching for this, right? What's stopping you? What's stopping you? All right? I know it feels like crap. I know you feel like crap. But I'm sorry. The amygdala only learns in one way. It wants you to show it that there's no real danger with your behaviors. And until you show it that there's no real danger with your behaviors, which is as simple as singing a song, right? Right? Even though you feel like crap. Until you show it that there's no real danger, you're wasting your time. Now, I know that you feel like dog doo-doo. And I know that you feel like absolute turd, right? I am not underestimating how you feel. I completely understand how you feel. But if you want to feel better, you've got to speak the one language that the brain knows. And everybody here in chat is capable of it. Everybody here in chat is capable of it. Isn't that a relief to know that? Isn't that a relief to know that you don't have to jump through all these complicated hoops to feel better? Isn't that a relief, chat? So, exciting stuff, good stuff. I'm glad he gave me permission to share that with you guys. I'm still not going to use his name regardless. I wouldn't do that. But that's good stuff, chat. That's good stuff, and it got me, as you can tell, a little fired up today. My voice, like I said, I think I'm getting sick, but it got me a little fired up today because that's just good shit, man. Hearing that is just good shit, and I wanted to share it with all of you guys. So there you go. Okay, I can only give you the information. I can only try to inspire you. What you do with it is up to you at this point. What you do with his story and my story and you know whatever else, what you do with all these different stories is up to you. It's up to you at this point. So you can either get going with it, you can take a leap of faith, and even though you feel like crap, you start to demonstrate to the brain that there's no real danger with these positive behaviors, or you can go the opposite route and you can continue to use negative behaviors and not sing and not dance, and these are just one of many examples, but you get what I'm saying. And you can stay with that, that alarm unnecessarily, right? So it might take some time to retrain your brain, obviously. It might take some time, but you can either get started or not get started, right? It's up to you. It's up to you, chat. Okay? One way or another, this is going to work out for you. One way or another, you're going to be okay. But I'm just trying to give you examples, right? Someone says, why does singing and dancing work so random? So if your brain only learns by watching you, watching your behaviors, whether or not you're in danger, picture this. Your brain is up in your head, and it's got what do teachers use? What do you call that? They point at the chalkboard with it. So your brain only speaks one language. The amygdala only learns through behavior. That's the only way you can teach the amygdala, right? So if that's the only way you can teach the amygdala, and every time you're anxious, this is you. On your phone, staying quiet, hunched over like this. Google article number 783. What do you think the amygdala is saying to itself if that's what it sees every time it flips the anxiety switch, right? If that's what it sees, oh God. If that's what it sees every time it flips the anxiety switch, what do you think it thinks? What do you think the amygdala is thinking? What do you think the amygdala is thinking if it sees that every time? What? What do you think it's thinking? It's thinking, holy fucking shit, there's a problem. Look at how they're acting. Make note of that. Keep the anxiety. What are you doing? Keep the anxiety level up. Look at how they're acting. Look at how they're acting. Don't turn that shit down. Turn that shit up. Look at how they're acting. Keep that shit raised, dude. There's a problem, right? So what do you think it then thinks if instead all of a sudden you go from this to, hey, I'm going to sing my favorite song. Right. Don't worry. Be happy. What do you think it's going to say then? It's going to say, what the fuck? All right. Hey, yo. I don't know. I don't know what got into homeboy, homegirl here, but they're not acting afraid anymore. I don't know what the fuck's up with this, but I don't know. You might turn the anxiety levels down a little bit. They're not hiding anymore. What the hell are they doing? I think they're trying to dance or something. They're doing weird shit. They're like moving around and smiling and singing and shit. I don't know. Turn those anxiety levels down. Something's different here. And then it takes note of that. It takes note of that. That's the only way it learns is through your behaviors. That's the only way it learns. It takes note of that shit. So next time it hits you with the alarm, hey, flip the anxiety alarm on. It's day 2. Okay? This anxious fucker, turn the alarm on. This is what we've been doing for the past 2 years. Turn it on. This is what we're used to. It turns the alarm on, and then it watches you. And instead of doing this, you're up doing this. You're up doing this. You're up doing this. What do you think it's going to say? What do you think it's going to say? It's going to say, what the fuck is he or she doing? For the past 2 years, they've been doing this. And now all of a sudden they're not hiding and they're smiling and they're not acting defeated or scared. And even though that alarm is hitting you, that alarm is definitely hitting you while you're retraining. But the brain's going, okay, day 2, they're doing some weird shit again. They're smiling and shit. They're not acting scared. Oh God. Hey, keep turning that anxiety level down. They're still acting not afraid and shit. So there must not be a real tiger down there. I don't know. What is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. He's smiling and shit. I'm not used to this. What's he doing now? Is that a moonwalk? What the fuck is that? That looks stupid. I don't know, but he's not acting scared, so just keep turning it down, I guess. I guess there's not a real tiger here, right? I guess there's not a real tiger here. And then day 3 comes, and then you're like, oh, I'm not 100% yet. Well, fuck all this shit. I'm going to go back to doing this. I'm going to go back to doing this in the corner, I guess. And then the amygdala's up there like, huh. Hey, you know what? You might as well turn it back up. Just turn it back up a little bit. He's back to doing the same old shit he's been doing for years. I don't know. He's not smiling anymore. He's not dancing. He's not singing. He's acting scared as shit. There must be a bear down there or something. There's got to be a tiger around the corner. He's acting scared as shit again. Go ahead and turn it back up. Just go ahead and turn it back up. I thought we were getting somewhere, but I don't know. He's doing the same shit again. He's scared of something. How many bears live in this fucking, country, right? Go ahead and turn that shit back up, I guess. And then you lose courage. And then you lose motivation. And now day 4 comes and you're doing this even more. And the amygdala's going, well, it's a good run, I guess, but turn that shit back up. There's a tiger somewhere, apparently. He's acting scared as shit again, right? And then day 5 comes and you're like, you know what? I had a first good couple days. I'm going to get back. Do you see where we're going with this? Sometimes you stumble. Sometimes you fall. You have a couple days where you teach the brain the wrong way. That's fine. Get back on track, right? So now you kind of see how the brain works. It's a caveman brain. It has to be shown that you're not scared. It wants to see you behaving without fear even though you're fearful. That's the only way it can determine if there's a real bear or a real tiger or not. That is the only way it can determine that. It doesn't you can't tell it, because if you could just tell it, that'd be a shitty protection mechanism. It has to see it. It has to see it. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that explains how this works and why this works. All right, guys. So that was disgusting. I'm gonna head into the post stream. We're gonna head on over to the post stream, guys. It's post stream time. I gotta take a break from my ranting. I gotta smoke a cigarette here. Smoke a cigarette here. Hey, that was a good one. That was a good rant, man. That was a real good rant. And I hope that kind of opens people's eyes a little bit on how that works, on why that works, right? And why there can be no exceptions. Like, I know you feel like dog do, but this is how the brain works, bro. Like, I don't know what else, we can tell you. I know you feel like crap. I've been there, dude. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but at the same time, you can easily reverse that shit if you just do it, right? And I know that's easier said than done. It's easy to tell someone just do it. Well, listen, man, I know you want this, so just do it. Right? Right? So if you were able to bear with me through all of that voice cracking, and I have no clue what's wrong with my voice this morning, but if you were able to bear with me through all of that, then good shit. Good shit. I'm glad you were able to bear with me through it. My nose is running and shit. I really think I'm getting sick, but I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm going to quit saying that. I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm going to quit saying that, but I don't know. It feels like it. So, yeah, man. It's good shit. It works. Behaviorally demonstrate to the brain that there's no real danger. Now, I mean, I just use the example of singing and dancing. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what you're going to adopt as a positive behaviors, but that doesn't mean you have to be singing and dancing 24/7. It's just every time you're anxious, do that. Every time you get these mind attacks and anxiety attacks, do that. You don't have to do it 24/7, dude. You don't have to do it throughout your whole day. I mean, you can if you want, sure. But anxiety learns the most while anxiety is turned on, right? So that's when it's going to count the most. And again, singing and dancing is just a random example. I mean, with everything we just went over, you can easily see how singing and dancing shows the limbic system that there's no real threat, right? Because what's the last thing you would be doing if there was a real threat? Singing and dancing. So that's just a perfect example. I mean, you don't have to use that one. I think that's what inspired my friend, and that's why he chose to go that route, was because that's what we talked about in the stream 4 or 5 hours ago. Um, but hey, you can pick your own positive behaviors. I don't know, you know, which way you want to go with that, which way you want to take that, but those are just some perfect examples. Like I said, we talked about that in the stream 4 or 5 hours ago. So, I mean, if my buddy who's been experiencing this for 3 or 4 years can make that kind of progress within not even a whole day yet, right? Say that he feels pretty damn good. He feels pretty damn good. Granted, it's still coming in waves, but he feels pretty damn good. It's not even been a whole day yet, right? That's recovery to me. That is amazing to me. That is amazing to me. So, is that a recovery story? Absolutely. If he keeps at it, it's all smooth sailing from here. He's golden. I mean, to go 3 or 4 years or however long it's been, and not have a moment of peace really, and to have ups and downs, different various levels of this and that, and then all of a sudden introduces positive behaviors, and within the same day starts to feel 10 times better. That's pretty fucking amazing to me. So I hope you guys find that just as amazing, and that's why I chose to share it with you. That's why I chose to share it with you. It's good shit, man. You know, back when I was at my worst, I didn't start out with singing and dancing. I probably should have. I kind of took baby steps, and it kind of led up to, all of this. But hey, if you want to jump straight into it with the singing, and have at it, man. I started to ease my way into it, I guess you could say. So I probably drug it on longer than it had to be drug on for, knowing what I know now and how the brain works. But still, those positive behaviors, they got me there at the end of the day. They got me there at the end of the day. I didn't make that much great progress within half a day, but I still made great progress pretty quickly. So everyone's different. Everyone's different. Choose your positive, accepting behaviors. Don't put a time frame on yourself. You can ease into it if you want, I guess. I feel like you're just, you know, uh, dragging it on longer than it has to be. But at the same time, if you're using positive, accepting behaviors, great. You'll get there. You'll get there. Or you can be like my buddy here and just jump into it head first and get inspired, and within not even a full day yet feel better than, quote unquote, than he's felt in years. So I don't know, it's up to you how you want to go about this. It might not be a day for you, it might take a little bit longer, whatever, but just see what happens. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. Hey man, Raw, I know you're a huge fan of like the spiritual type discussion. I love it. I love to see it. But let's start putting some of that energy, instead of thinking about the spiritual side of things, instead of thinking about this, that, and the other, and the ego, and all this and that. Let's just put those positive behaviors into play and see what happens. Trust me, you'll be much better off than trying to figure out all the little spiritual nooks and crannies and all that bullshit. Even though I love all that stuff, don't get me wrong. I personally, I'm a sucker for all of that stuff. But let's just put some of these positive behaviors into action here and see what happens instead. See what happens instead. I don't want anyone to get to the point where they're like trying to overthink this thing, man. Just put that same amount of energy into your positive, accepting behaviors, and you'll start to feel better. Yay, my first live. Hello from Australia. Hello there. How you doing? Welcome. I've got itchy sick voice today, so you'll have to overlook that. You'll have to overlook that. Ugh, and I'm burpy. Yeah, exactly, coffee. That's why I say, instead of putting all your effort into figuring out this and that and this and that, put that same amount of effort into your positive behaviors and see what happens. Yeah, see, just build on that, PJ. Just build on that, dude. It works. PJ vouching for it right now. PJ vouching for it. It works, man. So, there's another one who says, "Hey, I finally just took the leap of faith and started using positive behaviors and I feel better." There's another one right there in chat. So, what are you waiting for, man? I know you feel like dog doo doo, but what are you waiting for? If the emotional subconscious brain only learns whether or not you're under a real threat by your behaviors, why are you not singing? Why are you not dancing? Why are you not, whatever you want to do? That's just two of millions of different examples, but why are you not doing it? Why are you not using it? Just put a smile on. Just put a smile on during any panic attacks and say, "You know what? I'm not fighting this thing." Put a smile on. Continue on with your day. Right? Don't give your brain any reason to think you're under a real threat when you're not, because you're not under a real threat. So you got to prove that to the brain now. The feelings might be strong, but you can prove that to the brain. You absolutely can. Demonstrate to the brain with how you behave that there is not a real threat, because that is the one language that the amygdala speaks. You got this, chat. You got this. You absolutely got this. You absolutely got this. Well, when we say sensitization, we're referring to the amygdala being sensitized itself. That's what becomes sensitized. So it's more or less the same thing. When we say somebody is sensitized, that means their amygdala is sensitized. And the way to desensitize an amygdala is positive accepting behaviors, because you are demonstrating to the limbic system that there is no real threat, right? So when we say sensitized, it means that your amygdala is sensitized. And since the limbic system learns by watching you, that's why acceptance and positive behaviors is the key. Get some music back in here. That's a little low. Let's turn that up for you guys a little bit. Hope everyone's okay with some morning lo-fi here, because I am all ranted out, chat. I am all ranted out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am ranted out after that spill. That was like an hour-long rant. I am ranted out, chat. Changing those behaviors, man. I love to see it. I love to see it. Starting to get appetite back. That's a great sign. It's an awesome sign. It's not an unheard of fear, D Nun. Like, sometimes people don't even know who they are without the anxiety they've dealt with it so long. Don't worry, you'll get used to it, man. You'll be glad. You'll be glad. You'll be glad, dude. Hey, chat, if you take anything from this stream, act how you want to feel. I prefer to call it demonstrate to the limbic system that there's no real threat, but hey, maybe I'm just being technical. But if you take that from this stream and really apply it, you absolutely can make a recovery and you can start to feel better than you've ever felt despite what's going on in your mind and body. You don't have to exert yourself to death. All I'm saying is every time that you're feeling anxious, right? Every time that you're feeling anxious, act in the opposite direction and see what happens. It's not something you have to do 24/7. You can rest, right? It's not something you have to exert yourself over, but just every time you're feeling anxious, act in the opposite direction and see what happens. That's all I'm saying. Hey, you don't have to worry about donating. If you can't donate, that's fine. That's fine. My advice is here for everybody. Sorry, that rant took it out of me, chat. I went fucking ham on that one. My rant, oh, it took it out of me. I'm still here though. I'm trooping, man. I'm trooping. We trooping. We trooping, chat. Come on, give me some a little bit more upbeat than that. Put me to sleep over here with that. Continue to just drive those home, Ryder. Continue to just drive those home, man. Drive them home, dude. Every chance that you get when you're anxious, drive them home. Really drive them home. I know it takes some energy, but, you know. Love to see all the support in the chat. It's awesome. What's up, David? At this point in the stream, man, we're just hanging out. Hanging out, listening to music. Thank you so much for the $10 tip. Is that a $11 tip? I'm not quite sure. My vision's blurry. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. $11 tip. Thank you. I would try to pronounce your name, but I would butcher it. I would absolutely butcher it. I really, really would. I am gonna do this though. Hold on. Let me see. I am gonna do this. Oh, it makes me do that? Okay, well then we'll do it this way. I did get it. I did get it. Thank you so much for that tip. I really appreciate it. Let's get the hashtag. Hashtag in chat. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome, Simon. That's amazing, dude. Congrats. Well, it's not just singing in general, David. It's any positive behaviors. We just use singing as an example because that's a great positive behavior. You're raising your voice. You're not staying quiet. You know you're not in your cave, hunkered down away from the tiger. You're standing up and you're raising your voice, which is not something you would do if you were in any real danger. And the brain realizes that, right? The brain realizes that. So you're not staying quiet. You're raising your voice. You're smiling. The brain picks up on all this body language. So we use singing as an example, but I mean there's many different positive behaviors out there, right? But that's definitely not a bad example. It's definitely not a bad example. That's good. Sick. Are you making sure that when you do things like showering and brushing your teeth and you get back into these positive behaviors, are you making sure you're doing them in a positive way? You're not just dragging yourself around, right? Picking those shoulders up, smiling more, walking calmer. Hey, that's awesome, Silent. It's pronounced Nadine. Did I say that correctly? It's pronounced Nadine. Nadine. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, the conversion rates. Yeah, yeah, they're a pain. Hey, no, still, thank you so much for that. That's awesome. I do really appreciate it. Thank you for the $10 tip from Leanne. Leanne, thank you so much for that. Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, thank you.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey.
Thank you for the $10 tip from Tori. I hope I said that right. I hope I said that right. Thank you guys so much. Holy shit, you didn't have to do that. Thank you, thank you. Hey, let's get these hashtags going. Let's get these hashtags going. Why did it put your full name? I don't know. Guess it copied your username. Hey, let's get these hashtags going, guys. Let's let our tippers know that we are thankful for them. Oh, you absolutely do come back stronger. You absolutely do, 110%. You can just watch your movie and smile, right? Make yourself laugh. It's a funny movie. It will happen like that, Jordan. It will happen like that. The waves are normal, and that's when the advice is gonna play the biggest part, right? That's when the advice is gonna play the biggest role. So take advantage of that. Hey, again, thank you guys so much for the tips. I really appreciate it. Nadine, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you guys so much. Nadine, Tori, Leanne. I appreciate all of you. All of you. Explain how a tired mind from sensitization feels like. Like shit, bro. Like absolute shit. Dog shit. Every thought tends to suck you dry like a leech, man. You get these exaggerated physical symptoms. Your body's vibrating, you're buzzing, your mind's in a million different places. One loophole after another, one thought after another. They hit harder than a fucking freight train, and you just don't know which way to turn. All you want to do is fucking curl up in a ball. That's what that's what some strong sensitization felt like for me. But here's the good news. Positive behaviors and you don't have to go there. You don't. You have that choice. You have that free will. You have that choice. You do not have to be scared of that shit. You know, the only reason I got to that bad of a place is because I wasn't using positive behaviors. I was showing my brain that there was a real threat when there wasn't. That's the only reason I got to that place. You never have to get to that place or stay there. You never have to get to that place or stay there ever. So you say, okay, I'm feeling it today, bro, making me sad, bro. Pick your shoulders up, put on a smile, sing your favorite song. Sing your favorite song, and then after you do that, go dance a little bit. Go do something. Go do something that tells your limbic system directly, hey, look at me. I'm not behaving anxiously. I feel anxious as fuck, right? But I'm not behaving anxiously. Look at me. There's no need for this false alarm. Do that and see what happens, bro. You got this. You got this shit. Hey, you got to do something that's in the opposite direction of the anxiety if you want to tell your limbic system there's not a threat, right, PJ? I mean, again, guys, the singing and dancing thing, that's just an example. You can do whatever you want to do. As long as in the opposite direction of your anxiety, you're not behaving anxiously, your brain will see that shit. Your brain will see that shit. The singing and dancing thing, that's just one example of many, dude. That's just one example. Anything that tells your brain, hey, I'm not under a real attack. I'm not under real danger. And the more you drive those positive behaviors home, the more the brain starts to realize, hey, he's really not under a real threat or a real danger. Because again, that emotional subconscious part of the brain, that's the only language it speaks, dude. That's the only language it speaks. We just use singing and dancing as an example, but that's just one of many examples. I mean, as long as you're not behaving anxiously with your behaviors, your brain's going to start to get the message. But if you really want to drive it home and sing to the top of I mean, go for it. Go for it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, as long as you're behaving in the opposite direction and sending that correct message to the limbic system, it'll get things in order for you. Accept your feelings, man, but you can act in the opposite direction of them. But I mean, hey, if that's the route you want to go, PJ, do it and see what happens, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I'm at that point where I'm like, am I really hungry or do I just enjoy eating? How many people hit that point? How many people hit that point where they're like, am I really hungry right now or do I just enjoy food? Hey, we're trying, Lewis. We're trying, man. I mean, I'm a little drained now because somebody asked had I been to bed yet. No, I haven't been to bed yet, and I just did like an hour rant, so it took it out of me. But so I'm a little tired now, but still a great stream nonetheless. We're in that post stream just hanging. We're in that post stream just hanging. I eat when I get bored. I think most people do, honestly. I think most people do. Limbic system is part of your brain that determines what to set your anxiety levels at. The amygdala is just a part of the limbic system. And it only learns one way. Here comes the beautiful game changing fact. It only learns one way, and that's through your behaviors and how you act. That's the only way it learns. That's the only way it learns. That's the most important fact about the amygdala. Damn, that picked up. What the fuck? Well, you got a brain that wants to be sure you're okay, Ford, so that's why it takes work. That's why it takes work and dedication because that brain has been wired the way it's been wired for so long. You've got pathways that need to be retrained, right? So you just got to take advantage of those down days, man. You really just got to, you got to go from this sucks, total victim to, hey, I can put in that work today. I can put in that serious work today. All right, chat, we're approaching, what are we approaching? Hour and 15 mark. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'm drained, man. I'm ready for some sleep. I hope you guys put this advice to good use and get on your way because the only thing stopping you is a choice, guys. I know you can't see it right now, but you can absolutely be whoever you want to be. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.